As chair of the GAC directors and a director of a GAC accredited program at the University of Texas at Dallas, I'd like to thank you for your interest in project management program accreditation. I've personally found the GAC accreditation and annual reporting process to be very congruent with our other program and regional accreditation reporting requirements and an important part of our continuous improvement process. I've also heard prospective students tell me that GAC accreditation was an important consideration when they chose where to apply. This presentation provides an overview of the GAC and its accreditation standards. Hopefully it will answer many of your questions and encourage you to continue the journey. If you've considered GAC accreditation in the past and are back for another look, one thing you will find are recently revised accreditation standards that are much less prescriptive in terms of expected learning outcomes. That's not to say the former learning outcomes were not valid, they most certainly were and continue to be, but they focused on the basic fundamentals of project management, and we recognize many academic programs have missions that go well beyond teaching the basics. The new standards offer greater flexibility in defining and assessing program learning outcomes and demonstrating achievement of the program mission. The other directors and I, along with the GAC staff, welcome your interest in GAC accreditation and hope you find this presentation to be useful.
That was Jim Zott, the current GAC Chair and Program Director of the Project Management Program at the University of Texas at Dallas. I am Leslie Hyam, Accreditation Program Specialist with the GAC.
And I am Ashley Walski, Accreditation Programs Administrator for the PMI Global Accreditation Center for Project Management Education Programs, GAC.
We would like to echo Jim's words and welcome you to this GAC Accreditation Overview and Process presentation. Please take advantage of the chat and Q&A windows during the session. We will have an additional 10 minutes of live chat at the end of this presentation. We hope the information presented today will be worthwhile and useful to you as you consider adding more project management content to your programs of study and possibly consider GAC accreditation. We plan to give you information about the mission and objectives of the GAC, the growth of project management in the academic community, the value of accreditation, a brief history of the GAC program and its current state, as well as tangible and intangible benefits of GAC accreditation. Whether it is practicing medicine as a doctor or nurse, or working in the building and infrastructure arena as an engineer or an architect, or nearly any other profession, earning an accredited degree is the first step into a professional career. Quality assurance and excellence in education is what GAC accreditation is all about. GAC ensures that an academic degree is developed and taught using the most current thinking in the field, that it reflects educational quality with a focus on student achievement and continual improvement, and that it is carefully assessed and conforms to comprehensive global standards.
The entire process is designed to ensure that a GAC accredited program is a viable, highly qualified program that will adequately prepare students to meet the needs of businesses and government for qualified project management professionals.
To accomplish accreditation of academic degrees, GAC has a number of core activities it performs, from functioning as a policy-making body to developing and enhancing standards, to reviewing applicant programs, to granting GAC accreditation. It is also important to know that these standards were developed by a community of academics, practitioners, and representatives from government and industry. They are refreshed on a continuing cycle to ensure that the programs that are GAC accredited reflect the most current processes, concepts, and content within this dynamic profession. You all know that project, program, and portfolio management is growing in higher education at a tremendous rate. In the early 90s, there were only 11 degrees identified, mainly in construction. But in 2015, GAC identified over 900 degree programs in a wide range of disciplines: business, engineering, construction, finance, IT, and even healthcare. This wide adoption of project management in the academic curricula demanded that a quality assurance mechanism be put in place, and that mechanism is the GAC, the leading global accreditation body for project management education. PMI knew that the hallmark of a profession is to have it recognized by the academic community. An accrediting body with global standards in the field would greatly assist in the growth and acceptance of the profession of project management. As a result, PMI founded the GAC in 2001 as a specialized, programmatic accrediting body for project management education. So what is the value that accreditation brings to an academic program? A rigorous accreditation process involves and provides fundamental value to higher education. It recognizes a program's commitment to educational quality and continuous improvement. As the process is conducted with participation of academic faculty, it also represents peer recognition and achievement of quality benchmarks. But most importantly, accreditation assists students, parents, and other stakeholders in making better decisions in selecting appropriate educational programs. GAC accreditation promotes the project management profession as well as excellence in project management curricula. GAC accreditation standards are based on accepted global project, program, and portfolio management practices which assist programs to improve their offerings. There are 11 GAC eligibility requirements and accreditation standards that assure the quality of a degree program. These standards address all aspects of a degree program, from administrative structure to student admission policies to faculty and financial resources. But 3 standards are of absolute importance as they speak to the primary purpose and goals of the applicant program. The program's mission, and then flowing out of the mission, are the curricula and core areas of focus for program learning outcomes, and of course, program continuous improvement.
Over the past 13 years, the GAC accreditation program has seen a steady increase in applications for accreditation. In 2003, GAC accredited its first 6 programs, and as of December 2015, 103 programs are GAC accredited. GAC accredits degree programs at the bachelor's, postgraduate, and doctoral degree levels. The large majority of accredited programs are at the postgraduate degree level, and this fits the model of an emerging discipline in higher education, where it is first adopted at the master's level. But what GAC has recently seen is the tremendous growth of interest in project management at the bachelor level. As you can see, there is a wide range of disciplines where GAC programs reside, from management to engineering to IT. Additionally, programs applying for GAC accreditation can be full project management degrees, but they can also be specializations or concentrations within a degree in another discipline.
So now let's take a look at currently accredited programs. This slide speaks to the global reach of GAC accredited programs. As noted earlier, GAC has 103 accredited programs in 56 institutions in 16 countries. The majority of the programs are in the U.S., but nearly 24% are in the Asia-Pacific region, with a strong presence in Asia, in China, and Australia. I'd also like to share with you that many of the GAC accredited programs reside in top-ranked universities around the world. How do we know this? 2 renowned global higher education systems, the Shanghai Jiaodong University Ranking and the Times Higher Education Rankings, have 30% of the institutions where our GAC accredited programs are housed included in their rankings.
So what about GAC program statistics on the university side? A few facts from the 2014 GAC annual report submitted by the GAC accredited programs include: in 2014, there were over 1,000 faculty teaching in GAC accredited programs. A total of 5,896 graduates of GAC accredited programs in 2014. Additionally, there were a total of 16,738 enrolled students in GAC accredited programs. To give you a 3-year view, there were 17,489 total graduates from GAC accredited programs from 2012 to 2014. How does GAC do what it does? This rigorous accreditation process can typically take 12 or more months to complete and truly shows a commitment to excellence in project management education on the part of the applicant program. The 4 steps to the process are the letter of intent, the self-assessment report, the on-site visit evaluation, and finally, the GAC accreditation decision. Later in the presentation, we will go into more depth on these steps.
But before we get into the process, we've put together a short list of key guiding principles to consider as a program develops its responses to the letter of intent and self-assessment report documentation. Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone, said it best: before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Just as in any project, initiating and planning is a priority. The first step is to thoroughly review the eligibility requirements and accreditation standards in the GAC Accreditation Handbook 4.0. An example is that we've had applicants initiate the process only to have to withdraw when they realized they did not meet the eligibility requirements of offering the program for at least 2 years and having graduates before application. In the words of the great architect Mies van der Rohe, less is more. This photo of the new National Gallery in Berlin, Germany is an example of his spare style. But what does less is more mean in a GAC application? It means that when developing your application, whether it is the letter of intent or the self-assessment report, only include the evidence and information that will clearly respond to each of the GAC eligibility requirements and accreditation standards. Speaking to what was or what will be within the applicant program in your submission does not help GAC to clearly understand your program's mission, curricula, or processes.
When developing your documentation, remember to simply answer the question posed by the GAC eligibility requirements and accreditation standards, and provide evidence supporting your response. Again, GAC is trying to assess whether the program is of the quality and level that would qualify for accreditation. It is not necessary to give too much additional information to support your application, as that can sometimes cause confusion and the request for additional information. With these key principles reviewed, let's dive into the actual process.
The primary purpose of the letter of intent is to ensure that the prospective applicant program meets the initial eligibility requirements to pursue GAC accreditation. As a result, in addition to providing key demographic information, such as the name of the program, its location, and primary points of contact, the program also submits evidence that it meets the 4 eligibility requirements noted on this slide. Once the letter of intent is received in the GAC offices, the accreditation process is initiated. Upon receipt, GAC staff reviews the submitted letter of intent documentation, ensuring all requested information is provided by the applicant program. In some cases, staff may require additional clarifying information, and the letter of intent may need to be resubmitted. This is a normal part of the process. Once all questions regarding the letter of intent have been resolved, the program is advised by GAC staff to submit a paper copy of the letter of intent with the $1,500 USD application fee. At that point, the program is considered an applicant program, and permission is given for the program to move to the self-assessment report step of the accreditation process. For more information on this process, please read Appendix A, Required Information for Letter of Intent, in the GAC Accreditation Handbook 4.0.
The self-assessment report is the most labor-intensive aspect of the accreditation process for the applicant program, as it examines its purposes, processes, and its effectiveness. The program develops a report that provides evidence on how it is aligned with all of the GAC accreditation standards, including documentation to support its claims, such as faculty resumes, course and program assessments, samples of curricula, etc. GAC asks that the initial submission be digital. Again, GAC staff reviews the submitted self-assessment report documentation, ensuring all requested information is provided by the applicant program. As with the letter of intent, staff may require additional clarifying information and the self-assessment report may need to be resubmitted. Again, this is a normal part of the process. Once all questions regarding the self-assessment report have been resolved, the program is advised by GAC staff to submit a paper copy of the self-assessment report with the $2,000 USD accreditation fee. The report is then put forward to the GAC directors for their review and discussion regarding acceptance of the report. For more information on the process, please read Appendix B, Required Information for Self-Assessment Report in the GAC Accreditation Handbook 4.0.
The on-site visit evaluation is the third step in the process. This important step is where a team of 2 or 3 volunteer project management faculty and practitioners visit the main campus where the applicant program is offered and verify the findings from the self-assessment report. This team of experienced PM faculty members and practitioners spend 2 to 3 days verifying the findings from the self-assessment report and interviewing key program representatives such as students, faculty, and administrators. Please note that at each step of the process, the GAC is concerned that the process be collegial and that this is truly a peer-to-peer review process. The final on-site visit report is presented to the applicant program for verification. Then the on-site visit report and recommendation is forwarded to the GAC board for review and decision. For more information on the process, please read Appendix D, Guidelines for the On-Site Visit Process, in the GAC Accreditation Handbook 4.0. The final step of the GAC accreditation process is the accreditation decision. The GAC directors base their decision on the collective evidence provided by the letter of intent, the submitted self-evaluation report, and the on-site visit report and recommendation. The GAC director's decision can be to confer, defer, or deny accreditation to the applicant program. If accreditation is conferred, the initial accreditation cycle can be up to 5 years.
Once a program is accredited, it has ongoing continuing accreditation responsibilities, which includes the payment of the $2,000 USD annual accreditation maintenance fee, as well as submission of an annual report. The annual report to the GAC notes any changes or improvements in the accredited program, such as additions or deletions of courses, faculty or staff within the program, number of enrolled students, and number of graduates for the current year. It also gathers important data on the program to give the GAC a holistic view of its accredited programs.
Now that we've gone through the process, let's speak to the benefits realized by GAC accredited programs. In 2010 and again in 2013, GAC conducted a qualitative study of current GAC accredited program directors. The responses from these individuals spoke to the value of GAC accreditation. The promotion of quality assurance and continuous improvement, GAC accreditation serves as a mechanism by which a program maintains and improves the quality of its program. GAC accredited programs report a steady growth in the student body and the number of full-time and adjunct faculty. These program directors also stated that GAC accreditation differentiated them from other programs. Faculty and administrators noted that GAC accreditation gave them an advantage over other non-accredited programs. And additionally, GAC maintains a global directory of its accredited programs that serves as a key resource for students seeking project management degree programs. Let's now speak to the benefits for students enrolled in the GAC program. Students can be sure that the program they enroll in is a highly rigorous academic program that has met global standards for content and quality. and also that it is in tune with the latest developments in research and practices in the project management profession. Graduates of GAC programs are more marketable as they have the skills that are needed in the workplace. And additionally, any student who completes a project management course or module within a GAC accredited program is able to use that education towards fulfilling the education requirement to sit for a PMI credential or to meet continuing education requirements to maintain a credential.
So, who are the people that do the work of the GAC? As GAC is a global accreditation body, it is important that the viewpoints of the global academic and practitioner community are represented. This worldview of the GAC directors shows their diverse locations in that they are from 6 countries, but they also represent academics, practitioners, representatives from industry, and a public member. This volunteer group of 11 people is responsible for the accreditation decisions as well as the development of policies and procedures to evaluate programs.
Additionally, GAC is housed in the Practitioner Career Development Group at PMI, led by Vice President Brian Weiss, managed by Heather Ramsey, Manager Academic Programs, with 2 staff working in the program, Ashley and me. But we would not be able to do the work we do without the volunteers, who are key to the success of the program. In addition to the GAC directors, GAC relies on a cadre of about 50 volunteers to act as on-site team members. These individuals participate in 3-day physical visits to the applicant program, verifying the applicant program's documentation, and while on site, they interview students, faculty, and other stakeholders, as well as do in-depth dives into the program's curricula. I've mentioned throughout this presentation that you're welcome to contact the GAC with any questions, and this slide has a listing of specific contacts within the program, from the GAC chair to the GAC administrator. We will now move to the networking part of the presentation, and we look forward to speaking with you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Once again, we would like to thank you for attending this session. Today, we have Heather Ramsey, Manager of Academic Programs, Leslie Hyam, Accreditation Specialist, and myself, Ashley Wolski, Accreditation Administrator, to answer any questions you may have. Looks like we have a few questions that have came in. Our first one is from Alan, and he asks, can 2-year colleges get GAC approval? Leslie?
Sure. GAC's scope of accreditation starts at the bachelor's degree level. So at this point, 2-year programs are not, such as a junior college or an associate's degrees, are not accredited by GAC, but many 2-year institutions are most invited to apply to become registered education providers, and we can certainly give more information about that later. Thank you.
Great. Next, we have a question from David. He is asking, is there a document with the list of questions to address?
Well, David, certainly the GAC standards that are within the handbook is the base that you would provide your responses to. However, GAC, as an effort to assist programs, has developed some templates. And there is a template for the letter of intent, which is where the program addresses its eligibility requirements. And there's also a template for the self-assessment report, which is the second step in the process. These documents are posted to gacpm.org under the Apply for Accreditation page, and they're also in the resources page of our booth on this virtual event.
All right, we have another question actually from David, a great one. He asks, did I get this right? GAC can be a concentration and does not need to be a complete degree.
Well, David, GAC accredits full degree programs, full degrees in project management and related disciplines. However, it can be a concentration within a full degree. So GAC might accredit a a Master of Science in Information Technology with a specialization in project management. As long as there is, at least within the U.S. measurement, 15 U.S. semester hours of project management content that addresses the GAC standards, then that program can apply. Here's one more thing. It's important to know that the students that graduate from that program, on their transcripts, there should be some kind of designation so that it's noted that the student graduated with, say, a Master's of Engineering, a Master's of Civil Engineering with a project management specialization. So that's another key factor.
Right, next we have a question from Christopher. He asks, can a single course or sub-program within a master's degree program be accredited? More specifically, my institution offers 3 project management related courses within engineering management and technical management concentrations, among many more. Would we pursue GAC accreditation for the project management related concentrations and required coursework only, or the entire program within our School of Engineering?
Well, there's a number of issues you've addressed in that question, Christopher. As I mentioned a few moments before, GAC accredits full degree programs. As a result, individual single courses are not eligible to apply to be accredited. However, if you were to take a holistic look at the degree program where those concentrations or those series of courses sit, you may be able to map courses that maybe don't have an obvious title, such as organizational leadership. You might be able to map that back to the GAC standards and find enough, the minimum content required to be able to apply. So let me see. I think I answered as much of your question as I possibly could at this time.
Thanks, Leslie. Yvonne has asked, if our program is GAC accredited, can we register our courses in CCR for PDUs? If yes, how?
Well, Yvonne, that's a great question. GAC recently enacted another benefit for GAC accredited programs and their students in that any of the courses within your accredited program can be registered for PDUs in the CCR system. So I know some information went out to accredited programs about this, and what we ask is the programs fill out a form, send it back to us, and we get it into the system. Another really great part of this benefit is these courses are accepted without question towards the fulfillment of any of the PMI credentials and the contact hours to sit for an exam.
And we have been getting some questions about the benefits of students enrolled in GAC, and so I think that kind of ties to that a little bit. But
yeah, I think that's true. And you know, I know there was a question in there about benefits for students, and we did cover that in the session too that you just reviewed. But that is a very tangible benefit of the PDUs being accepted towards the credentials and towards the experience requirement.
all right, we have a great question from Carrie. She asks, does PMI make the accreditation decision on applications?
Well, I have to say that PMI is our sponsoring organization, but GAC is, as noted in the presentation, GAC is governed by a group of volunteers who are faculty, industry members, etc. These individuals are the ones who make the decision on accreditation, and they also develop the policies and the processes. So again, PMI sponsors the GAC program, but the policies and all related decisions come from this volunteer group of GAC directors.
Okay, our next question is from Jeff. Why does PMI sponsor an accrediting organization?
Well, this is an easy question to answer because as most of you on the line know, PMI is the leading professional association for project management, and we're the logical champion for the GAC. And additionally, this aligns with PMI's value proposition that PMI will be seen as the organization that sets the bar on education and training in project management.
Okay, Paul has asked, does an applicant degree program have to be all project management to qualify for accreditation?
I think I talked about this a few minutes ago. It certainly does not have to be a full degree program in project management, although we have 7 or 8 degree programs that are masters in project management. But it can certainly be within the engineering, business, IT, healthcare. It can be in any discipline as long as there's a specialization or concentration that has enough content in project management to be eligible.
Sally has asked, are there different standards for different degree levels?
Well, with the revision to the standards that were just released, I can answer that even more clearly. The same basic standards apply for all applicant programs. We have standards for faculty. We have standards for financial support. But each applicant program does need to provide a description and evidence of how its curricula includes the academic content, rigor, and quality appropriate for the degree or award level. To this end, GAC has recently published the expected levels of academic achievement, which is in the GAC handbook, which contains descriptors of the knowledge, skills, application of knowledge and skills that would be expected for each academic level, such as the bachelor's level, postgraduate, or doctoral.
Our next question comes from Maggie. What kind of assistance does PMI GAC provide to programs considering applying for accreditation? And I'll go ahead and answer that one. So GAC has developed templates for each stage of the process. What's important to know is anyone can access these templates by actually going to gacpm.org and apply for accreditation. Also, staff is available to answer any questions at all as well. We're very open to teleconferences or email communications, so we certainly encourage that. Our next question is, can a program include education on both project management and program management? And that's an excellent question.
So, Bilal, I can tell you that with the revision to the GAC standards recently, GAC has broadened its scope to address project, program, portfolio management, and related programs. So certainly a degree program that developed courses that addressed both project and program management would be welcome to apply.
Okay, our next question that we have is from William. How much does accreditation cost?
Well, the costs of application are spread over the 12-month application period. So the total of the submitted fees would be $5,500 USD, not including the cost of the on-site visit team, which are estimated to be another $3,000 USD. To view a breakdown of the fees, I encourage you to visit the Apply for Accreditation page on gacpm.org.
Andrew has asked, how long is the accreditation cycle?
A program seeking accreditation may be granted accreditation for a maximum period of 5 years. It can be less than 5 years if upon the review and decision of the GAC directors there were found to be some slight issues with the application.
Okay. Susie has asked, what language does the documentation need to be in?
Well, as we state in the handbook, we ask that the documentation be submitted in English. That means that the letter of intent and the self-assessment report needs to be submitted in English. However, the on-site visit can take place, if it's in another country, the on-site visit can be in the language of that country. GAC hosts a number of, GAC asks a number of its on-site visitors to have language fluency in whatever the applicant program has.
Okay. And I believe our last question is coming from Ben. He asks an excellent question. Who chooses the on-site visit team for the visit to the applicant program?
That is a great question. Now, GAC staff, as mentioned in the application, in the recent presentation, GAC staff maintains a listing of 50 or more volunteers. However, we developed the proposed team of evaluators, but we always contact the applicant program with the names and the CVs of those proposed team members, ensuring that the program also gives approval of that team.
Thank you, Leslie. And again, we would like to extend our thank you for coming to the session today. Just so you know, we will be hosting revision to GAC eligibility requirements and accreditation standards for our next session. We certainly hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.